Hello, this is Long Story Capsule, when we take our daily 2000 word long story and break it up into a easy to understand capsule for you. Today's piece is on the Amazon rainforest. Over the last 3 weeks, the world has watched with horror as huge amounts of land in the Amazon rainforest have been destroyed by fires. This has taken over 75,000 hectares of forest land. The world has been concerned about the Amazon rainforest, as obviously most of they regard it as a kind of a green belt for the planet. Unfortunately, the main villain has been Bolsonaro, the Brazilian president, who has been seen as somebody who's resisting attempts to solve the crisis. Is that true, Ajay?
Recently, Bolsonaro was at a global G7 conference, and he was getting a lot of pushback from a variety of leaders. The general consensus within Brazil seems to be that Bolsonaro is not doing what he could, and there are a variety of reasons for it. But just to give a sense of scale, 75 or 76,000 hectares is about the size of India. So it's a huge area which is up in fire, literally. And since the Amazon is one of the biggest carbon traps in the world, it's going to have a significant impact on global climate as well. But I mean, the fact that Bolsonaro is hated, and he actually had run-ins with Macron, the French president, at the G7 meeting, is pretty surprising because he's been in power only since January of this year. It's just been a few months. But he has just become this figure of hate, and indigenous communities within Brazil, who are the most affected by these fires, are particularly up in arms. Why do you think he has become such a hated figure in such a short time?
Right, Ajay. But before I continue, just one clarification. The size of India is there's the haze actually which is
Sure,
spread
I'm sorry. Okay.
all across parts of Brazil, and that haze apparently covers 3.2 million square kilometers,
Right.
which
Sure.
is Shobhan Saxena, the author of this piece is reference to the size of India.
Sure.
Bolsonaro has come into power just 8 months ago. He is in keeping with the recent trend of right-wing presidents and prime ministers and leaders all over the world. He fits that. He's come out of pretty much nowhere, and he has strong business links, and has always said that he wanted to open up the rainforests to business interests, both for mining and agribusinesses. Uh, Layered with this is Bolsonaro's stance on the sovereignty of Brazil, where there are also big concerns about Western powers seeking to get into the Amazon rainforest and, in a sense, control it because it's a global asset. Now, since this current debate mirrors some of these concerns, this is a global problem and not a Brazilian problem, he is taking a sovereignty line. That meets his audience and his expectations at home, but has made him a pariah globally.
Right.
Unfortunately for him, Brazil's image has suffered as a result. And for many of us who see Brazil as a land of samba and soccer, it has and a country that rarely goes to war. This has really hurt its image amongst millennials. Ajay, what do you think should the global community do now to tackle Bolsonaro?
The global community is already pushing back. Like I mentioned at the G7 now, there is talk of trade boycotts, particularly led by the EU. And since Brazil's economy is also not doing too well, which is another domestic problem that Bolsonaro has, and agribusiness is a major export commodity, and they earn quite a bit of foreign exchange from it. So it's gonna hit them in the purse, and there is already a lot of domestic resistance now to Bolsonaro, because even agribusinesses are now saying do something about the fires, because if the global community stops buying agri products from us, it's going to hit us on the bottom line. So I think something is going to happen. Bolsonaro, even if he doesn't want to do anything, even if his motivation is to promote mining interests, he's going to do something surely because of the global pressure, which is built up to quite an extent over the last 3-4 weeks. But we cover some of those aspects in the story, and it's a very comprehensive look at an issue that a lot of Indians have also been invested and interested in. If you have been following social media in India, there have been a lot of trending hashtags on something far away in Brazil, and people do really care about the Amazon. So if you want to read the full story, you can go to the website livemin.com and do take a look. Thanks for watching, though. Thank you.
Thank you.